and welcome to Third Eye TV Africa. My name is Joy Malik. The headlines. President Tinubu demands tough response to security threats. Niger State Governor urges miners to surrender explosives. Governor Umba reiterates call for enforcement of anti-spill lock. Now let's go on a quick break, and when we return, newspapers review continues.
For deeper analysis on security situation in Nigeria and beyond, watch Third Eye Africa TV.
Welcome back. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has called for tough response to terrorism, insurgency and other forms of security threats in the Lake Chad Basin region. According to him, the chain of events that has disrupted the stability of the region in the past 15 years demands that power must be wielded responsibly to guarantee the safety and prosperity of the people. The president stated this on Wednesday when he declared open the fifth meeting of the Lake Chad Basin Forums in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. The meeting brings together 8 governors from Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and the Republic of Niger, as well as humanitarian organizations and local and international communities to address pressing security challenges and explore solutions for stability in the Lake Chad region. President Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, noted that while military power is necessary to contain the identified security threat, it must be accompanied by strategies that addresses their root causes, including poverty, inequality, and lack of job opportunities for the region's young population. The governor of Niger State, Muhammad Umaru Bago, has said that some miners in communities across the state are in possession of guns and explosives, raising concerns about security risks. He stated this during a visit to Sabon Pegi community in Mashegu local government area, where a dynamite explosion at a miner's residence killed 3 people and injured several others. The governor urged those with such explosives and firearms to surrender to the State Security Committee. He announced a 174 million naira relief package to support the victims of the explosion. Governor Bago visited the explosion site on Wednesday alongside the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and Senator Abubakar Sani Bello, among others. The Information Minister conveyed the President's concern over the tragedy, describing it as a preventable disaster. Now, the governor of Enugu State, Peter Umba, has called on the Federal Road Safety Corps to enforce the use of anti-spill locks on petrol tankers across the country. The call comes on the heels of frequent explosions of petrol tankers in parts of the country. Last Saturday, no fewer than 15 persons were reported killed after a petrol tanker exploded at the Ogu-Oyema section of the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway. Governor Umba spoke when he received the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubadaya Umar, in his office in Enugu for the distribution of relief items to the victims of the explosion. The governor said the anti-spill lock would protect the spillage of inflammable contents in the instance of an accident. Governor Umba thanked President Bola Tinubu and NEMA for their empathy and quick response to the incident, noting that such action demonstrates the existing partnerships between the federal and the state governments. And on human trafficking, the Rivers State Police Command has dismantled a child trafficking syndicate, arresting 2 female suspects and rescuing 2 children in the Chikoko area of Iche local government area. The suspect, identified as Ugochukwu Iyebuchi and Ogochi Nemze, were accused of defrauding 2 women, Juliet Blossom and Esther Michael, under the pretense of facilitating baby adoptions. The command spokesperson Grace Iringe Koko confirmed the development in a statement issued, noting that the suspect operated in collaboration with a local vigilante group, the Onelga Security Planning and Advisory Committee. According to the Irege Koko, the suspects were apprehended at a checkpoint in Chukocho, where investigations revealed the links to OSPAC members who allegedly aided the crime. She added that the rescued children have been reunited with their families while investigations continues. Now, the Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS, has initiated a post-exit dialogue with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, which will determine the new relationship between the rest of the region with the three countries. The president of ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Toure, while addressing the media on Wednesday at the ECOWAS headquarters in Abuja, said the authority of the head of state and government will determine the bloc's modalities of engagement with the three countries. The three military-led West African nations have officially withdrawn from ECOWAS. According to Dr. Toure, the withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali, and the Republic of Niger from ECOWAS has become effective on the 29th January 2025. He said the next step would be the exit negotiations, which would involve ECOWAS and the three countries, adding that the regional bloc has initiated the procedure and positive responses have been received from the former members. Toure said passports and identity cards bearing its logo will remain valid for traveling within the region for citizens from the three countries. Now let's go on a quick break, and when we return, newspaper and press review continues. Do stay tuned.
For deeper analysis on security situation in Nigeria and beyond.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, my name is Joy Malik. Now, the Guardian newspaper, we have in page 3 the NLC to protest against 50% telecoms hike on Tuesday. Well, Tinubu blurring line between state power, personal ambition, says Atiku. You find that in page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. 5 kidnappers killed in gun duel with police along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. You also find that in page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. And NCAA suspends Max Air over Kano near crash incident. You find that in page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. And then in leadership newspaper, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso exit ECOWAS. You find that in page 3 of the leadership newspaper, and in page 2 you find 3,690 Nigerians face deportation from the US. And EFCC versus Yahaya Bello, Carter Jones to April 3rd. You find that in page 23 of the leadership newspaper. Chad Basin traditional rulers lead fresh fronts. You find that in page 4 of the leadership newspaper. Well, today we have our in-house guest, Mr. Udo Itefia, and Mr. Hassan Dahiru. Welcome, sirs.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Well, yesterday during the Lake Chad Forum with the governors, President Tinubu spoke on insecurity, and we can all agree that since he came into power, insecurity has reduced drastically. But yesterday he spoke on insecurity. What do you actually think, on fighting insecurity rather, do you actually think insecurity can be cleared out drastically and completely from in Nigeria?
Well, no country in the whole world is without pockets of crimes and things that are related to insecurity here and there. But the most important thing is how to kind of have a peaceful atmosphere for other things to run, like the governance, people in business, you understand, the farmers doing their own farming and other things. But what we have been having in Nigeria for more than a decade now is insecurity that is having a kind of serious negative impact on our community, our livelihoods, our businesses, education sector, agricultural sector, economic sector in a whole. The Boko Haram started long ago, more than 10 years now, and we've been battling with the same thing, and all of a sudden we haven't yet cleared the issue of Boko Haram. We have the issue of bandits in the northwestern part of the country, rampaging, taking people hostage, collecting ransom, and other things. In some instances, some scenarios, you find out that they are hosting their flag and to show that they have authority within. Although recently there was a kind of seriousness and massive onslaught, the security agencies taking the fight to the enclaves of those criminals. Coming back to the leg chart, particularly the Northeastern State, the program that is going on since yesterday, and the president was represented by his vice chair, President Kasim Shettima. It's a good thing, and this is not the first meeting, and what we are expecting is a positive result from those meetings. You know, I always say that there should be all these tea sipping meetings where people will just come and they have media coverage, they take tea and all this thing, and they all live, and at the end of the day, we still live with our own problems. We cannot preempt what they've been doing, and even the presidential statement, you know. But the most important thing, after all this gathering and other things, there should be a position taken by all these people that converge to discuss the insecurity within the leg chat. Okay, what has happened during the last meeting? What has, you know, there should be a kind of impact and assessment, you understand, evaluation of the successes, the challenges here and there. I believe this what they're discussing there, but yet we still have all this kind of insecurity flourishing within those zones. And like I said, you know, if you look at the leg chart, the green line, you understand, starting from the Sokoto, going down to Yobe, Maiduguri, you understand, there are a lot of natural endowment. Most of the riverine communities are fishers, you understand, and this is a kind of business that has been booming to some extent. They're even exporting the fish outside the country. And that was before the coming of Boko Haram, all these criminal elements, you understand, have been taking them to ransom and other things. And more so, more to it is, okay, most of the people living around that area are farmers, you understand. Some are doing farming the large scale, you understand. And because of this insecurity, they cannot do the farming, they cannot do anything. And another aspect of the negative impact of all this insecurity, you know, most of our schools there within the communities were being shut down due to the fear of this Boko Haram, who have been taking school children. At the end of the day, we still have the Chibo girls not yet been fully released, you understand. These are things that have been impacting negatively on the progress of Nigeria as a nation. And I believe for the leaders to think even of coming together to discuss the issue of security shows a kind of a commitment to that effect. But the most important call I want to make to those leaders is, okay, whatsoever they discuss, let it be a reality, you understand. Like I said, there's no society that is existing without criminalities and other things. But our own is in a very large scale, and to an extent that it grounded activities. Education has suffered a lot. Agriculture has suffered a lot. The petty trading, the business that has been going there, you understand, has been suffering a lot. A lot of things are happening. So far that these meetings will make a kind of positive impact in liberating those areas for farmers to go back to their farms, for businessmen to go back to men to go back to their businesses and other things. I think it's a welcome development, and our president has said a word, and I am always saying that, okay, there should be a kind of trust building between the leaders and the followers. You know, Nigerian leadership are in front of a kind of releasing statement here and there, and at the end of the day, they cannot follow that with action. I believe and I encourage our leadership to whatsoever they said, more especially regarding the insecurity and developmental aspect of Nigeria, they should follow their words with action, you understand? So that Nigerians will believe that if leaders said a word that I'm going to do this to Boko Haram, I'm not going to do this to make sure that we deal with kidnappers and all that is, the people can cheer him off and they can believe that definitely the government is going to do something on it. We are not categorically saying that they are not doing their best, but their best is not enough. People have been crying, and we have seen a lot of instances, situations where farmers have to pay money to criminals before they go to farms. Even after farming, they have to pay another money for them to do the harvesting and all that. Even after the harvesting, you understand, you don't have assurance. Those that are farming beyond their own consumption, they have to take some to the market, and there's no way they can move from 1 inch to another inch to sell their goods and other things. So these things are grossly affecting the livelihood of Nigerians, more especially those living the green line of the Lake Chad basin, and a lot of things should be done. And we recently discussed the issue of border security. You know, there should be a kind of strong collaboration between the neighboring states, neighboring countries, you understand, to foster a kind of strong security arrangement so that they can checkmate all these insecurities. You may find out that wherever Nigerians are ready to push out all these criminals, then they can quickly move to another country that doesn't have that strategy on ground. And when the situation is calm here in Nigeria, they will still come back to Nigeria and start, or rather continue perpetuating their crimes and other things. So I said that it's very difficult to build a border fence along the border lines we have in Nigeria. But definitely technology has provided a kind of avenue and a kind of advantage for those who want to use technology to fight insecurity. There are a lot of things to do, at least to reduce to bearable level, the level of insecurity that have been bedeviling the northern part of the country, particularly the those states that are within the Lake Chad.
So just to add, well, how can insecurity be tackled completely? So just the other day, the governor of Kaduna State, Obasani, made a peace deal with bandits. Do you think that decision was the best?
You know, sometimes war and all these conflicts usually result on the table, you understand. The government used to have a kind of kinetic and non-kinetic approach to fight insecurities. So far that if the state government in Kaduna believes that what we work for them is to have peace with those people, I think it's good so that people can go and continue with their own daily activities to earn their livings and other things, because it has been maybe a flight or tried in other states and it doesn't work. So that does not mean that if it doesn't work in Katsina, it doesn't work in Zamfara, you understand, it cannot work in Kaduna. So far that this thing is workable, you understand. Though I really feel very much encouraged with the statement by the spokesperson of the governor, said categorically that despite the fact that there's a kind of peace deal between the government and the criminals, if at all any criminal feel maybe he can go and orchestrate all this, or he can go back to criminality, the state government will use the state parameters on that is to deal with all those criminals. I think it's a kind of showing full the government has it. I don't want a situation whereby the government will succumb to the wish and caprices of all these criminals. Okay, we must force the government to listen to us and have peace with us, and at the end of the day, they cannot stop all these criminal activities they've been doing. But in a situation whereby it's because the overwhelming approach and decisive approach by the government that makes or force the criminals to see the need for a dialogue and peace deal, I think it's a welcome development, and if it works, definitely that's what we want. And even in the Western world, you find out that hostage taking and other criminalities usually end up with negotiation, and at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that the state doesn't have that authority to fight all these criminal elements. We had a situation, we had a history whereby during the tenure of former governor of Zamfara State, that's the present minister of for state defense, Honorable Matole, there was a lot of peace deal which doesn't work. At the end of the day, those people will come and surrender their weapons to some extent. They can even get some incentives from government, and they can go back to bush and start or continue doing all the heinous crimes they have been committing. And even during the Yari, you understand, he predecessor, a kind of approach to peace deal has been brokered, and at the end of the day, it doesn't work.
So you don't think it worsen insecurity in Kaduna State?
No, I don't think. You see, my position is okay. Let's give it time to see how. Yes, you understand whether it works. Unlike what has been obtainable in other states, fine. If this thing is working for Kaduna, I think the other governors should equally borrow a lead, because it's high time we should get rid of all these criminal elements and all criminalities. Because look at Kaduna, though the government has been doing well for a very long period now. They left in the lodge Kaduna Abuja Expressway now is relatively peace and calm. People can even fly that road in the night, unlike what was before. You understand? Or people can travel without fear of bandits, kidnappers will block the road and other things. So I think this is part of the efforts of the government, and we should commend them for this. But there's still need for them to do more to make sure that lives and property of the citizens is being fully protected. This is the cardinal objective of having government in place. If the government cannot provide security for livelihood, it cannot provide security for the properties belonging to the citizens. You understand? I think there's no essence of them being in the position of power.
Okay. So, Mr. Udo, do you have anything to add to what he said?
Yes. You see, the government, because we started by saying, is the government actually doing well in the area of security? You discover that since this government came to power, Ahmed Tinubu's government, it has, you've seen some bites on the fight against insecurity in the country. And for some time, we got to hear that, all those the criminal commanders, Boko Haram commanders, terrorist commanders were taken out, and they even placed some timeline towards some of them that were elusive. So until recently, I think last week, when they attacked a military camp in Borno State, I think the government was on the path successfully winning the war against terrorism. And going back to what this the President Tinubu said in his speech to the Lake Chad Basin Commission Forum, you discover that he had recognized the fact that these things are these things come because of the situation in the society. Because he said that steps should be taken to ensure that employment is provided for the youth. Because if they are, it's said that an idle man is the devil's workshop. So if these youths do not have what to do, if they've gone to school and come out and there's no employment opportunity, you discover that they would not be able, or they will be ready tools in the hands of these terrorists that come to want to recruit them. So something should be done in order to ensure that youth generally are fitted into active economic activities in the country.
Okay. Moving over. Well, the River State Police has been working effortlessly in tackling human trafficking. 4 human traffickers were caught. And what do you think is the most critical factor in preventing human trafficking in the region?
Well, this is another aspect of the criminal activities in the country that government should look into it critically. What is propelling this? What makes people to go into trafficking of human beings, of children, of women, from one place to another?
I think it's greed.
Is it greed? Is it we want to? So the government should look into it, not just that you are arrested, and those that are found, because this is a crime against humanity. You know, something that you have done to somebody that you wouldn't want them to do to you. Why do you do it, or your child? Why do you do it to another person? You know, you take it's like kidnapping. You kidnap a child and you traffic the child from his parent to maybe some other places. Maybe you sell them into slavery. So these are the things that I think government should look critically into it. What makes people to go into it? And those who
Start
have...
from the roots.
Yes, go to the roots. Those who are doing this thing, don't spare them.
Yes.
Don't spare them. Because when you treat them with, you know, because they are laws, treat them according to the laws of the land, and others would take precaution.
Okay, Mr. Dahiru, what do you think can be done to combat human trafficking?
You know, not only when I heard you mentioning Rivers State and other, is a kind of menace that have been happening across the Niger. You understand?
The
A lot of
entirely.
things, but Nigeria, as a case study, you know, we have a very ugly incidences where small children, you understand, will be picked and sell out. We have the baby factory. These are another aspect of this trafficking and other things. You know, we have NAPTI, we have authority that are saddled with sole responsibility to deal with all these crimes, you understand. And coupled with the police, DSS, you understand, they still have their tech to make sure that they can bring to bear, you understand, all those issues to resolve them, more especially by stopping the traffickers. And there was these cases where some people were taking. It's high time that our security should put eye to this aspect of crime. It's creates a lot of issues to the already existing issues we have on table. You know, if you can look at the situation, I listened to a kind of one of the Hizbah commandant in Canada's Islamic this security outfit in Kano, back to their family. Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., they say they got about 200 people, small children sleeping on the street. And unfortunately, 2 of them were found dead, you understand. These are very ugly incidences, and there are indices to show that in the near future, this 200 children, you understand, it doesn't have future. Nobody is training them. It doesn't have parental care. It doesn't have, so it's easier for them to be recruited or to be lured by all these traffickers to take them wherever they want to take them. And most of the another aspect of it that you find out that some people or rather syndicates are taking some children, women, you understand, some of them to just go and engage in sex and other things to across even some African countries that are not even having a strong economy like Nigeria. So these are the, I think, failure of the institutions, failure of the community leadership, failure of the religious leadership, failure of the parents, you understand, because all these people have their own responsibility to make sure that we have a kind of society that is free of all these biases. Because if a father will be so much responsible to take care of his son or his daughter, you understand, you cannot expect someone can just come into his house, barge into a house and take his daughter outside or his son outside. These are things that we should do as a giving our own part of the responsibility. The children going out of the house to the society, this is another responsibility by the community leaders, the religious leaders, you understand, and the security agencies to make sure that those children are safe whatsoever they are doing, whether schooling, whether whatsoever they are doing, the safety should be guaranteed by the security agencies. And a lot of, we have agents or areas of socialization, you understand. Yeah. We are not taking advantage of all these things. Social media has been a kind of becoming a tool now to maybe manipulate the psyche, the thinking, the psychology of our children, you understand. A lot of things are happening, and it's high time that the authority should kind of wake up and do the needful to make sure that those children you are saying, you see, I am always saying it. We discuss issue of insecurity. You know, it boils down of what we are having now, what we are discussing, these urchins and all the state children, you understand? You know, there are push factors to criminalities. Someone, a hunger can push someone to go and commit crime, you understand? A lot of you, someone that is jobless, you understand, can easily be lured into criminalities, you understand? There are demand factors who are very minimal to what we have been having. Demand factor is someone that is doing well, have his own job, you understand, but at the end of the day, he may find one thing and committing one crime or the other. But the fact is that, okay, if those people I mentioned